Hey guys, what's up? Riley here. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at my 55-gallon fancy goldfish tank. So this is just a Top Fin Essentials 55-gallon kit that I purchased from PetSmart over the summer. I've had these goldfish, well, at least the two ranch shoes, since last year. They were actually featured in a video where I had them in the 40-gallon temporarily. That was that weird dirt setup. Which, by the way, dirt on goldfish, probably not a good idea. I know there is some fluval stratum pieces sitting around. That's mostly just because I had stratum in here before I put the sand in, and I didn't take it out, which was my mistake. There's also stratum in the pots, in the pot here, that the goldfish sometimes stir up, but they really do leave the plants alone. I haven't really had any issue with the goldfish like eating the plants or anything like that, but goldfish obviously are known to eat plants. So yeah, I got the two ranch shoes. Then I have this. This is a walk-in goldfish or a Wayakin goldfish. I'm not sure really how to pronounce that, but they're basically like a common goldfish, but they have the fancy tail. And he's grown about 2 to 3 inches since I got him. And he was in quarantine for about a month. But once I put them in here and I started feeding them, I feed them cichlid pellets. That's why they get so big so quickly, because there's a lot of protein that's in the cichlid pellets. I also have some bristlenose plecos in here just to eat the algae and other stuff. So, I mean, goldfish are pretty cool. You just have to make sure you have like a big enough tank. I think it's 20 gallons per goldfish in terms of space, and that's just fancy goldfish. It's different with common goldfish. I have a canister filter, a Fluval FX2. Fluval FX2 here. I bought this stand on Amazon and put it together myself. It's pretty nice. And we also have this hang on the back filter that I bought from PetSmart. And I also have a heater in the tank from Amazon. So in terms of caring for a fancy goldfish, you basically, like I mentioned before, want a big enough tank. You want to make sure there isn't too many objects in the tank or objects that aren't going to damage the fancy goldfish, because they tend to be really clumsy and they will crash into things and will injure themselves. I had a ship in here that was removed and I replaced it with this volcano, and my black ranch shoe there, or darker ranch shoe there, kept hitting it and got injured, but she hasn't gotten injured since. I'm not really sure what gender these two guys are because I haven't noticed any white tubercles, so I assume female, but who knows. But so they didn't like crash into this volcano and get injured, basically. You want super robust filtration, so like canister filters, hang on the back, stuff like that. And you also want to make sure you're doing at least 50 to 75% water changes every single week. So I'm down here every single week. This is my basement. I'm down here every single week, and I'm doing a 50 to 75% water change and just making sure all the crap is taken up. The plecos will not eat the goldfish poop, obviously. You're going to want sand as your substrate. As you can see, they are sifting. And all the sifting, like all that means, I know it sounds a little bit cringy, but all sifting means is that it just means that they go down to the bottom of the tank, they suck some sand into their mouths, they expel it through their gills, and it's kind of just a natural behavior. One thing to keep in mind though with sand, and I have noticed this as a problem in my canister filter, so I might get something to cover up the outlet, but some of the sand will get in there, and when you clean out the canister filter, you're gonna have to take it out. It's probably not likely to screw up your propeller. I haven't actually had that problem, but I know like some people have definitely encountered that. And I mentioned this earlier in terms of plants for fancies. They will eat plants, but as you can see, mine aren't. And I haven't really named any of these guys, to be honest with you, even though I've had the ranch shoes for like a year. But mine don't eat the plants, but some will apparently eat the plants. Just in terms of like tank mates for these fancies, like you can do bristlenose plecos, white cloud mountain minnows, mollies would even work. Any kind of like peaceful fish to be honest with you. And I would recommend a heater in general for fancy goldfish because their metabolism has to be in like tip-top shape or they're going to have health issues. These are inbred fish, guys. These are not naturally occurring fish, and they need every single thing, you know, to help them. And you can see there's mutations that even occur. You can see this one here. It doesn't have its top dorsal fin or its side fin, which is probably a mutation of some type. Kind of reminds me of Nemo from Finding Nemo. But yeah, these are not natural, guys. Like fancy goldfish, not natural. And it's not that they're not natural in terms of the mutation isn't natural. It's that the mutation would have occurred in nature, but through natural selection, it would have been bred out. But through artificial selection, that's how we end up with ranchus, ryukins, and other types of fancy goldfish, pretty much. I do have a UV clarifier in here, as you can see, but that's just because we had an algae bloom because of a bacterial bloom when I first put all the fish in, and the bacteria kind of started going. So in terms of tank size, personally, what I would recommend is if it's not a temporary home where you're just taking your fish in from a pond in the winter, I would recommend a 55 gallon to a 75 gallon, but a 125 would be ideal, obviously. But you know, not everybody can get that in their car or afford it to begin with, or maybe they live in an apartment. So the most realistic option would be a 55 gallon. But just to take it down a little bit, I guess not to be hypocritical, but take it down a little bit, a 40 gallon breeder. I mean, you could probably keep 2 goldfish in a 40 gallon breeder. It's probably the minimum tank size. I think a 37 gallon tank is probably too small, but you might be able to keep 2 in a 37 gallon too as well. Because it's about the size of a 40 gallon. It's just, 4 gallons smaller. So, but anyway, yeah, so in terms of feeding them and stuff, I do feed them. Here's what I feed them. It's cichlid pellets. So it has a very high protein content because I want high growth. And you can see it's almost 40 grams of protein. And this stuff is really good at just like coloring them up and making them look nice, pretty much. And you also can feed them like algae wafers. As you guys can see right here, I have algae wafers. These actually aren't Hikari. These are Northfin. I have a big bag of them, but I just kind of refill the algae wafer bag. So that's pretty much it. You can also feed them. I got these generic pellets from where the hell are they from? Imperial Tropicals. So you can feed them these too. They'll basically eat everything. Like they'll literally eat everything. So that's about it for fancy goldfish care. And check what temperature it is in here. It's 81 degrees. But you're gonna want to do all these things. And if anybody in the comments section wants to, I guess, come up with some names for these goldfish, because I literally haven't been able to name them. I don't really name my fish, but if anybody wants to name them in the comments section, go ahead. Man, these guys are awesome. But anyway, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later.